Okay, what's up guys? So today I'm going to be talking about Axie Origins and the things that you want to prepare for what's coming. So this is just a quick recap because I think there's a lot of information out there already, but if you're not yet up to speed, then this is for you. Okay, so basically I'm doing this because Axie Origin is already around the corner. They promised us around end of Q1. March is the end of Q1 and yeah, pretty excited to check out Origins actually. So let's check out what the information that we have already and things that we need to prepare for. So let's go. Okay, so what do we know so far? So there are things that have been released in Axie Substack. So I'm going to link all those information below or those links below so that if you want further reading on these items, you can just go over to their website. But I'm just giving you a quick summary and my thoughts about what they have or what the informations that we have. Okay, so we have the release plan for alpha stage. So alpha is basically the test stage wherein they want to gather feedback from various kinds of players, what we like, what we don't want, and they also want to gather basically data, right? Data on what's good, what's not, and try to implement this one on Season 0. So Season 0 will be the one that will be receiving a lot of changes and probably a lot of the things that they've been testing. And this is the phase where, well, it's basically the start, the real start of Axie Origins, because in alpha everything, all the progress will be reset, and of course there's no SLP to be gained and even EXS, right? But in Season 0 there's a possibility. They said they may allow or they may put the SLP earning mechanic on Season 0. So if that happens, then what happens is that Battles V2 will shut down and we're going to continue earning our SLP on Battles V3. But if that does not happen yet, Battles V2 will still be running, okay? And that's where we're going to earn our SLP, okay? So those are the two things that we need to know about the release plan. So this will be the early stages for Axie Origins, okay? So how about our Axies? What's going to happen to our Axies? So it was pretty clearly stated that your Axies, you will be able to use your Axies in Origin, okay? So no need to worry about the value of your Axies. It will still be usable. However, there are some things that we want to take note of once we get into the new mechanics, okay? Here you go. So new game mechanics. So this is the snapshot that they have in the Substack, and one of the biggest changes here is that you will now have sequential turns. So what does sequential turn mean? So think of your well-known trading card games like Magic the Gathering, Hearthstone, or Yu-Gi-Oh, right? They all have their sequential turns, meaning player 1 goes first, player 2 goes second, player 1 goes again, player 2 goes again. So that's how it's going to play out this time. So it's no longer simultaneous, or you're not going at the same time. You're not going to be selecting cards and then letting it play at the same time. What happens is one player plays his cards, then another player plays his cards, okay? So we're still not sure though on who's going to be first. What's the advantage? Is it always better to go first or go second, right? We don't know all those kinds of stuff yet. And by the way guys, this is all speculation based on what information we have. So none of this is confirmed, and some of these could also be changed in the future, right? So it's nothing is final yet from these things that we see here, but basically that's the idea, right? Sequential turns, one player and then another player and then you again and then another player and then you again, or I mean the opponent, okay? Let's just say opponent, because it's still going to be a 1v1, right? So your turn, opponent's turn, your turn, opponent's turn, okay? Though that's the sequential turns. Next is reset energy and cards each turn. Okay, so reset energy. So what I was thinking about on this one is you're going to have a set amount of energy each turn, okay? So whether or not you use all those energy, then it's up to you. Probably that's where the strategy will be taking place, and then your cards will also go to your discard pile after the round or after the turn. Okay, so this just means that you have to maximize the usage of energy and your cards. So basically, efficiency is the key, right? So yeah, and another theory that I have here is probably this energy will be incremental per round, perhaps. So probably on turn 1, you have 1 energy. The following turn, you're going to get 2 energy. The following turn, you're going to get 3, something like that. But this is all speculation. We don't know for sure. And that's what we want to find out during the alpha phase, right? Okay. So, what's next? Okay. So, stats, parts, power-ups, and crits. So, we're going to start with Axie stats. Okay. So, currently, in Battles V2, we have stats for different parts, right? So, let's say, for example, an Aqua part is going to give you 1 HP and plus 3 speed, right? A Bird part is going to give you plus 3 speed and 1 morale. For Beast part, I think it's speed and 3 morale, right? 1 speed, 3 morale. So, each of the parts is contributing to the overall stat of the Axies that we're using to battle. But when it comes to Origins, since it's going to be sequential turns, we actually don't need speed stat, right? Because you're guaranteed to make your turn when it's your turn, right? So you don't need the speed for the Axie. So what's going to happen on Origins is that only HP matters, okay? So it's going to be just HP, okay? They're going to remove all the other stats. So, okay. So next is Eyes and Ears. So previously, Eyes and Ears were just there to manipulate the stats of our Axies, right? So if you want a faster beast or a faster mech, you wanted to have Eyes and Ears for bird eyes or aqua eyes and ears for those Axies, right? If you want to go faster. But this time, the Eyes and Ears are going to play a huge role because they're going to be new cards, or they're going to be cards for your Axie. So we have examples here. So look at here. We have Robin, right? Robin is an eye part for a bird, and it says summon a little Robin. So it looks like here you're also able to summon minions that can fight for you, right? Next is Telescope. So Telescope, put 1 aquatic card from your draw pile to your hand. So this is something that you have to be careful of on your current Axies, or if you're planning to buy or prepare for Origins. So if you have the fast beasts or fast mechs, fast dusks that has beast parts, right? The beast cards. The builds that we have currently that has Arco, Hero, Nutcraps, right? Be very careful if it has this part, right? Telescope. Because once we migrate to Origins, it's going to be useless because you're not going to have much more aqua cards, right? Okay. So next is Earwing, right? So Earwing is an ear part for a bug. So you can just see the effects there. Next is we have power-ups or runes and charms. Okay, so this is an example. So we don't know how this is going to work yet, but looking at this, it's actually pretty good. So it's going to add another variance to the game, right? So it's already RNG, and you're going to add another RNG quality, or yeah. But we don't know how we're going to be able to use this, and we don't know when we can use this, right? But there seems to be effects that can affect each round for our game, and we don't know if we can use them every turn during our battles, or we can just use them once and they go away. So there's a lot of things that we don't know, so we're just going to have to wait on this one. Okay, lastly is critical hits. So the bane of our existence, right? So for sure you've experienced unexpected crits coming in from your opponents, but for sure you've also enjoyed your own crits, right? So because of, well, what always happens is that negativity triumphs over positivity, because you're going to experience more of the negative, or you're going to remember more of the negative part, right? So they wanted to get rid of critical hits, and this time we're going to have a rage system. So rage is basically like a bar. I'm thinking it's a rage bar. So you have a bar that you have to fill up. Once it's filled up, your next attack, your Axie's next attack is going to be empowered. So that's what I think, right? So it's going to be super empowered or huge power up on your next attack. So with this one, you have a clear indication that you know that you're going to be hit hard and it's not going to mess up with your damage calculations, right? So you can prepare for it and you can prepare for it. You know what to do and you're not going to be as frustrated as you were with the critical hits, right? So I think it's good and we'll just see, right, what's going to happen next with this one. Okay, next thing is the onboarding part, right? So for onboarding, they're going to give us free starter Axies. So these free starter Axies are basically more for beginners, the new players that don't have Axies yet. So this is really good because I remember my first Axie shopping experience. I really didn't know what I wanted to get, right? You don't know what to buy. The only way for you to know is for you to play the game, learn the game mechanics, and then buy your team, right? But with the current state of Axie right now, there's no way for you to do that unless you get the scholarship and then learn the game from that way, right? So for new players, this is a good way to get engaged and learn about the game and then decide what kind of playstyle you want to go through and before investing your money into this game, right? So it's really good. And next is we have tutorials and unlocks. So for sure there's going to be tutorials because we're not going to know how to play the game initially, right? Everyone's going to struggle. Everyone's going to find the right strategy, the best strategy on how to play the game. So the tutorials are going to help us understand the game better and then know the game better before we can really build up our teams, right? So expect some wonky teams that will show up day 1, day 2, first, second weeks, right? Until we develop metas again. Okay, so that's what's going to happen for Origin. And lastly, we have the card changes. So for this one, I'm going to create a separate video on this one because there have already been leaks for mouth cards, for back parts and tail cards, right? So we seen there have been leaks on that, but I haven't seen them yet. So let's try to check them out on my next video and try to theory craft, right? But know that we have new card changes, and from what we see on this one on the sample here, that we're going to have the energy cost over here. We're going to have I think this is attack, right? This is the damage, and then card type is attack, and then we also have card type, which is skill. So what I've observed so far is that there are no cards used for defending. Okay, we have no shields. This time around. Yeah. Okay, so we have the special effects over here and then the class. Okay, and then the part. So these are back parts, tail part, and then back part. Okay, so that's what we know so far with Axie Origin. Okay, so if you have any questions, please put it down in the comments below. I'll try to research on it, read on it, or whatsoever, so that we can all learn together and be more prepared together when Axie Origin hits alpha phase. Okay, so thank you very much guys for watching and see you again next time. Bye.